balance market demand and climate change. U.S. officials said that the two sides were on the brink of an agreement when they were talking at the Group 20 summit in Rome. The two sides were working hard to reach a deal before December the 1st, when the European retaliatory tariffs were set to double. The 25% tariffs will apply to European Union exports beyond 3.3 million tons, according to two people familiar with the talks. Zippy Duval of Farm Bureau said today that while the dispute centered around steel and aluminum, farmers were swept up in the turmoil as the European Union clamped down on U.S. agricultural exports like orange juice, butter, cheese, pork, peanuts, other nuts, and many more. It's crucial that we now restore these trade relationships.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our technical skills,
our math, our engineering skills.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills.
You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise, we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Rain and a thunderstorm from this morning will continue through this evening and can lead to flooding. High today 72 to 76, low tonight 60 to 68. Then Saturday we'll have variable cloudiness, a cooler day with a brief shower or two and a high of 63 to 72. Sunshine on Sunday, high 69 to 73. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Here is exciting news from the College of Central Florida. On Tuesday the 9th at 8:35 a.m., Dr. Raffle Robinson from CF will be Tom's guest to tell us about enrollment for spring, the virtual application night, and open house. Be sure to tune in to learn how you can further your education in a field you love. Again, that's Tuesday the 9th at 8:35 for higher education happenings.
Come join us at the 40th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show, November 6th and 7th in beautiful downtown Gainesville for a weekend full of art, music, and culture. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by over 150 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, photography, sculpture, jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy entertainment on 4 stages, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. And bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination Station. For more information, visit GainesvilleDowntownArtFest.org.
Hi, this is Jack O'Brien, and I could tell you stories like this one about Carolyn Reese. About a year ago, a road crew did some work out in front of her house. The patch they left sank several inches within just a few days, and so when drivers hit that dip at a pretty good clip, it really shakes things up. Well, of course, every roofer and landscaper and floor or kitchen installer comes roaring past her house. They all seem to hit that hole in the street, so almost every day, Carolyn finds something in front of her house that dropped off a passing truck. The latest piece looked like a little shelf bracket, had a 90-degree angle and screw holes for attaching it. There was a row of sharp points on it, too, like saw teeth. Well, Carolyn kept all of her husband Alton's tools when he died in 2009, and passing trucks have added substantially to that collection. She's found hammers and screwdrivers and metal shears and tape measures, a nail gun, drawer pulls, and even bungee cords. So she takes it all to the garage, she hangs it up on the pegboard that Alton had installed when they first moved in. Anyway, word got around that Carolyn found a piece of metal. So within a couple of days, her doorbell started ringing as visitor after visitor called asking to see the object, each hoping they could figure out what it was. The mystery was attracting all the single men in the neighborhood, too, so she started getting up a lot earlier than usual to prepare herself for visitors. Most of all, she was really enjoying the attention. And if the gentleman was interesting enough, she'd show him the collection of tools she kept in the garage. Brent Colvin rang Carolyn's bell one day at 8 in the morning. He heard about the metal object from his poker buddies the night before. Brent had always gone out of his way to talk to Carolyn whenever they ran into each other, so she decided she'd show him the garage. "Oh my gosh, Carolyn, how much of this fell off a truck?" Carolyn figured about half. "Really? My gosh, that's amazing," he said. Well, the conversation kept going, went so well that Carolyn decided to take the initiative and invite Brent to lunch. So after a couple hours, they were on their way to Crystal Lake Country Club. They had a wonderful time. Well, then he excused himself to visit the men's room, and like many men, he is in the habit of using a paper towel to open the door when he leaves the bathroom. But the bathroom didn't have a waste can next to the door, so as Brent looked around to check for a trash can, his eyes caught something attached to the bottom of the door. It looked just like Carolyn's metal object. So he put the toe of his shoe down on the row of metal teeth, and then he pulled the door open with just his foot. So when he returned to the table, he suggested Carolyn check out the door in the ladies' room, and she came back in a minute and gave him a big kiss on the cheek. Well, within a week, word went out that Carolyn had a new find. It was another heavy metal object, a brass cylinder with numbers and a dial. Well, the next day, Brent was at the door, and of course, Carolyn was very happy to see him. As they walked toward the object on the workbench, Carolyn saw the slip of paper she'd left there, and she kind of felt herself blush. She looked over at Brent, but his eyes were on the pegboard in front of him, so she took advantage of the distraction and snapped up the paper and crumpled it up in one swift motion. It took Brent 2 more visits before he finally asked Carolyn to dinner, and she was right, he was just shy. He never did figure out what the brass thing was, and Carolyn felt no need to tell him about the receipt she hid from him that day or about the shopping trip to Trash and Treasures, where she bought whatever it was. This is Jack O'Brien. Thanks for listening.
Like what you've just heard? I Could Tell You Stories with Jack O'Brien is brought to you by Brick City Digital. Hi, I'm Michael Warren, and at Brick City Digital Marketing, we believe every business has a great story to tell. Our job is to help your business tell your story in a way that brings more customers to your door. We help small businesses just like yours with web design, social media, SEO, video, and more. Visit us online at brickcity.com or call 352-351-1131 for a free consultation.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Coming up at 9:35, Stacey Causey from the Marion County Commission will be here. She was supposed to be here yesterday, but we had a slip up in how we communicated with each other, and so she's got quite a few things that she wants to bring to us, so she's coming back today. She's usually here on 10 o'clock on Thursdays, but through no fault of hers or ours, things just didn't go right yesterday, and she's coming back today to give you an update on what's going on in the county. So that's at 9:30 this morning. Susan Schmitz will be here at 10 o'clock. She will talk about the upcoming Toys for Todd event tonight and this weekend. Plus, she'll be here to be my sidekick for Dumb Crook News. All the Florida news, by the way, from right here in Marion County. This today's Dumb Crook News, all the Florida Dumb Crook News from right here in Marion County. And, of course, after our show goes off the air at 10:30, at 10:30 on these airwaves, What's the Line with Kevin Stone. It's your chance to get out your pad and paper and take notes to see how you might, for recreational purposes only, entertainment purposes only, wager on upcoming football games of the weekend. I do want to tell you that the inaugural Nancy Reinhardt Endowment for Dementia Education Golf Tournament to benefit the Hospice of Marion County that was scheduled today at noon at Muni has been rescheduled January 14th, same time. We'll get you more information about that. If you're one of the participating teams, we'll get you more about that coming up. Ocala Civic Theater, it's out. A live radio play. It's a Wonderful Life, December 26th through December 19th. November 26th through December 19th. You know, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. The beloved Christmas classic will be on stage at the Ocala Civic Theater, sponsored by Hires Baxley, one of our great sponsors here, along with other sponsors. But this is going to be a great play.
I'm looking forward to it. It's my favorite Christmas movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing a theatrical play of it. Because it is literally, I'm all in on Zuzu's pedals, folks. All in on Zuzu's pedals. Just telling you, all in. It's my favorite. Clarence, George, Harry Bailey, Mr. Gower, Martini, Uncle Billy, Mr. Potter. I'm all in. Mary Bailey. George lassos the moon for. How can you not be all in? How can you not be all in on a movie where a man lassos the moon for his love? Although I better stop because Susan will want me to lasso the moon now, and I'm not that good with my shoulders and everything. I don't think I can do it. So daylight savings time also takes place this Saturday night. We fall back. Instead of spring forward, we fall back. Time is what is daylight savings time? See, I found this article. The Ocala Star-Banner did a great job explaining daylight savings time and the math of it. What is daylight savings time? It's adjusted to achieve longer evening daylight, especially in the summer, by setting clocks an hour ahead of the standard time. Who invented daylight savings time? Are you ready for this? Benjamin Franklin. He's credited the most with coming up with daylight savings time. He did it in 1784 so that people could gain an extra hour of sleep. When did it go into effect? Daylight savings time was enacted during World War I as a way to conserve coal. It had seemed, sporadic since Benjamin Franklin come up with it, but it became the nation's rule. And during World War I as a way to conserve coal, the Department of Transportation manages the time change, citing energy and crime reduction. Now, why is there different times? When the sun is high in the sky in one part of the world, it's nighttime in another part. So for midday to be close to the middle of the day, the world has to be divided into different time zones. This according to mathisfun.com. When should you set your clock? Well, I don't set my clock. Mine are all digital clocks that are internet-based, so they reset themselves because I'm lazy. Most people set their clocks before going to bed. Those with smartphones, computers, tablets, and smart TVs don't have to do anything. Why all the hype around daylight savings time? See, that's the question I have. Why all the hype? Well, the Ocala Star-Banner answers this. We live in a time-obsessed culture. What time is it? When's dinner? When's lunch? How soon till I take my 30-minute lunch break from work? How many days or hours till we celebrate, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, St. Patrick's Day? And, of course, one of the most popular holidays of all time revolves around a clock itself, and that's New Year's Eve. Worldwide, we love the holiday so much that we dress up, drink champagne at midnight, and watch the ball drop in many different time zones. In the news business, time's especially critical. A rocket launch scheduled to lift off at 12:21 a.m. Eastern Time from Kennedy Space Center plays havoc with a reporter on the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. schedule, but chances of people tuning in from the West Coast are able to watch it virtually at 9:21 p.m. with little or no interruption to their sleep schedule. Because at 12:21 a.m., most people on the East Coast are asleep. 3 hours away, though, on the West Coast, they can watch that in prime time. Most of Florida, fun fact about our area, most of Florida is in the time zone, is in the Eastern time zone, except for when you get out in the Panhandle. Panama City, Mariana, Chipley, DeFuniak Springs, Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, they're all in the Central time zone. So even though they fall back and we fall back, when it's next Sunday morning at 6 a.m. here, it'll be 5 a.m. in Pensacola. Yeah, right here in our own state, we got two time zones. Finally, how do you calculate daylight savings time? In the U.S., there are 4 time zones, Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. If it's 6 p.m. in Florida, that means it's 5 p.m. in Illinois, that's the Central time zone, 4 p.m. in Colorado, that's the Mountain, and 3 p.m. in California, the Pacific time. But what about where it is with daylight savings time? How do you calculate that? Well, in Arizona and Hawaii, the only two places that have no daylight saving time. In the summer hours, Arizona's 3 hours behind us. In the winters, they're 2 hours behind us because the state doesn't really recognize daylight saving time. So from Arizona's point of view, before the time change November 7th, if it's 6 p.m. in Florida, it's 3 p.m. in Arizona. After the time change, if it's 6 p.m. in Florida, it's 4 p.m. in Arizona, but 3 p.m. in California. From an Arizona's point of view, before the time change in the spring, if it's 6 in Florida, it's 4 in Arizona. After the time change in the spring, it's 6 in Florida, it becomes 3 in Arizona. But it's also 3 in California at that time. Confused yet? Yeah, me too. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz.
Yeah, good morning again, Tom. You calling? See, I believe there are 13 states that have 2 time zones. And I don't know, that would be kind of confusing for me if you're driving around and stuff. And I don't know. I wish they would just go back to one way.
Well, Florida's the only state on the eastern seaboard with 2 time zones, but there are 13 different states that are in 2 different time zones. And here's the crazy thing, Hugh: the state of Georgia, the entire state of Georgia, is on the eastern time zone. The entire state of Alabama is on the central time zone, except for Phoenix City, Alabama. One city in Alabama is on the Eastern time. Do you know why?
No.
Because Phoenix City butts up right at the state line to Columbus, Georgia, where Fort Benning, the military base, is. And because the military base is on Eastern time zone, and Phoenix City's where all the nightclubs and the good restaurants and all are, they stay on the Eastern time zone as well, so that military personnel aren't late getting back on base.
Oh my gosh!
You think we got problems? Imagine doing that.
Yeah, they keep talking about changing and going back to one or the other, but that's been talked for I don't know how many years now, and I don't know. It just.
Well, no, we passed it. We passed it in Florida. To do away with daylight savings, but now you have to submit it to the Department of the Interior, and now you got to wait for the federal government and the legislature up there to say it's okay to do away with the time zone with daylight savings.
That'll be forever then.
Yeah. So thanks for the call, Hugh.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, daylight saving time's confusing. Just know you fall back in the fall, you spring forward in the spring. Fall, spring, fall, spring. It's the only thing I can tell you that makes it easy. We're going to take a break, come back, and wrap up this first half hour of the show in hour number 2. Coming up at 9:30, Stacey Causey from the County Commission is here. She was supposed to be here yesterday, but was through some issues that arose. She wasn't able to, but she's going to make an appearance today. Right here on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.